If you want to learn how to connect a 7-segment display in Tinkercad, you're in the right place. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to set up the display, identify the pins, choose the correct type, and wire it properly so you can test it manually or control it with an Arduino. This is a really useful skill if you're building number counters, simple calculators, or beginner Arduino projects in Tinkercad. And if this tutorial helps you, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more easy electronics and software guides. Now let's get started. The first thing you need to understand is that a 7-segment display is basically made up of 7 individual LEDs, plus a decimal point. Each segment can light up separately, and together they create numbers and some letters. But before you wire anything, you need to set the display type correctly in Tinkercad. This is very important because the wiring depends on whether you're using a common cathode or a common anode display. To do that, place the 7-segment display into your Tinkercad circuit, then click on it so the Properties panel appears. In that panel, you'll see the Type option. If you choose Common Cathode, that means all the LED segments share a negative ground connection. In this setup, you turn each segment on by sending power, or 5 volts, to the individual pins. If you choose Common Anode, all the segments share a positive 5-volt connection. In that case, the individual pins turn on when you connect them to ground. So always make sure the type matches the way you want to build your circuit. Next, let's identify the pins so you know exactly where each segment goes. The display has 10 pins total, with 5 on the top row and 5 on the bottom row. The top row from left to right is G, F, Common, A, and B. The bottom row from left to right is E, D, Common, C, and DP for decimal point. If you memorize this layout, wiring becomes much easier, especially when you start connecting each segment to an Arduino. Now let's do a simple manual test without using an Arduino. This is a great way to confirm that your display is working and that you understand the pinout. Start by placing a breadboard in Tinkercad, then add a battery, such as a 9-volt battery. Place the 7-segment display across the center notch of the breadboard so the pins are separated properly on both sides. Now connect the common pin. If your display is set to common cathode, connect the common pin to the negative rail or ground side of the battery. If it is set to common anode, connect the common pin to the positive rail instead. This one connection determines how the whole display behaves. After that, use a 220 ohm resistor in your circuit. This resistor protects the LED segments from too much current. Connect one end of the resistor to the other battery terminal, and then connect the other side to one of the segment pins, like pin A. If everything is connected correctly, the top segment of the display should light up. That means your display wiring is working properly. Once you understand the manual test, you can move on to connecting the 7-segment display to an Arduino. This is the most common setup because it lets you control the display with code and show different numbers. First, connect the common pin of the display to GND if you're using common cathode, or to 5 volts if you're using common anode. Then connect the individual segment pins to separate Arduino digital pins. A simple and common approach is to connect Arduino digital pins 2 through 8 to segments A through G. That gives you one pin for each segment, which makes coding much easier. You can also connect the decimal point if you need it, but for basic number display, the 7 main segments are enough. When writing the code, remember that the logic depends on the display type. For a common cathode display, setting a pin high turns that segment on. For a common anode display, it works the opposite way, so setting a pin low turns the segment on. That's why choosing the correct type in Tinkercad is so important before you start coding. If you're just beginning, the easiest method is to test one segment at a time. Turn on segment A first, then B, then C, and so on. That helps you confirm the wiring and makes troubleshooting much simpler. If a segment doesn't light up, double-check the pin label, the common connection, and whether your display type matches your circuit. So to quickly recap, the process is simple. First, set the display type correctly. Second, identify the pin layout. Third, place the display across the breadboard. Fourth, connect the common pin to either ground or 5 volts depending on the type. Fifth, use a resistor and test a segment manually. And finally, connect the segments to Arduino pins if you want to control them with code. And that's how you connect a 7-segment display in Tinkercad. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more beginner-friendly electronics tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.